Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and hello, Wolfie. My name is Kurt, and welcome back to Farlands or Bust. Here we are, within the deluxe double wide or 1.5 wide hidey hole here with Wolfie, because it was raining at the end of the last episode, and also we spent an extended amount of time within this hidey hole. All right, Wolfie, you're kind of in the way. Well, I suppose I could just dig a new exit. Woof! Yellow. It's chickens. Alright, let's get out here. I'm a little bit concerned about the tree, the foliage. But we appear to be alright. Let's grab Wolfie, get him outside. And continue on in this episode... what episode is this? 354 of Farlands or Bust. Skeleton Residue... Skeleton Resident. But yeah, continuing on. Today is Monday, May 19th, 2014. Don't need the bones, don't need the cobblestone. Did I just hear a dog take damage? Oh well, it wasn't Wolfie, I don't think. But Monday, May 19th. I've got to get back in the swing of things. Here comes a creeper. Hold on. Oh, whoa. I got a little bit tripped up on the foliage. The foliage. All right. Well, that guy's working with a swiftness. Get out of the way. Wolfie's got to get past, my friend. You are no friend of ours. Wow, look at how fast this guy's moving. He's the Michael Phelps of creepers. Although I suppose Michael Phelps isn't really known for walking, is he? I'm sure he could walk pretty fast at an advanced rate. All those calories he eats every day. But yeah, welcome back to Farlands or Bust. Kind of a delayed start here. But yeah, Monday, May 19th, 2014, episode 354. And we're up to $1,951.18 for Child's Play charity over at farlandsorbust.com is where we are raising that money with the official Child's Play charity donation tracker widget thingamabob on the homepage. You can donate. And if you donate $50... or before somebody else does, you can get past that $2,000 mark for us. That would be amazing for this Season 5 of Farlands or Bust. Helping get toys, books, games, and other things to kids in hospitals around the world. Indeed. And yeah, some people I noticed on Twitter were sending me messages saying, oh, is the subscription box on YouTube broken? I'm not seeing any Farlands or Bust episodes, and where's the Farlands or Bust episodes? Well, if you had watched the previous episode 353, all the way through to the end, you would know that I said I was taking a week off of Farlands or Bust. You always gotta stick around for the end of the episode. You'll get some detailed additional information usually. I forget some things as I'm walking and save them for the end, so just gotta watch the full 35 minutes, and you'll also get additional information if you click the like button. No. Oh, I have spiraled into madness in this week off, but yeah, a little bit out of sorts, a little bit got to get back into the groove of recording and YouTube and whatnot. But yeah, I was away for the past week. Suppose I will talk about that eventually. We have some additional things to talk about here. The news tidbits and points of interest and news snippets of interest and things that have happened over the past week of interests that I find interesting. There we go. Finally. Excuse me. Yeah, my voice has grown wary by not being exercised recording videos on a daily basis. And basis. Vases? Put those flowers in that there vases. Woo. Don't need you. So yeah, I'll talk about that in a bit. But we are back. This is currently recorded, presently today video. All the previous stuff you saw in the last week was pre-recorded and going up. So oh well, we're back on track. I suppose it was. Hopefully, I'm justifying it as being well timed. I'm sure a lot of you had your finals weeks finals and or exams for the end of the year, of the school year. Ooh. Is this somebody else's hidey hole? Oh my gosh, it is. This is like hi. This is a perfect little pre-built hidey hole. It's craziness, madness, spookiness. It was the cow's hidey hole. But yeah, I'll talk about that in a bit, but a couple things happened over the week. Those of you may know, it was over the course of Far Lands or Bust that we kind of discovered this together, but I appear to be, and recent studies have shown, recent actual medical studies of my own body have shown that I do have some sort of wheat and or gluten sensitivity, intolerance, allergy, whatever you may want to call it. And I was having a lot. I mentioned this in Far Lands or Bust a couple of years ago. There was a whole week I was just taken out of commission. I couldn't eat. It was not fun to eat. I lost like 15 pounds and I had cramps, and I've always had problems just regularly, and regularity problems. Oh, I apologize. But yeah, always had issues, and everything kind of pointed towards different symptoms that I will neglect to share with you, because that is not something you want to hear. All lined up to possible, gluten problems. So I cut the gluten, cut it out, cold turkey, chicken, and was like totally better. Like that really solved the issue. And it perhaps placebo, perhaps confirmation bias or something, but I don't care. It seems to have worked. And that's something I went to my doctor and I said, I think this is it, but I haven't had actual tests on it. And my doctor was like, she's like, well, if you changed that one variable in your diet and now you're suddenly better, then there's nothing wrong with keeping up with that. Even if, it wasn't some sort of, you weren't having deadly allergic reactions. It wasn't like a peanut allergy. It's not something that if I change the diet, I'm going to notice a giant shift in certain health one way or the other. So it's just like, if that works, then keep with it. You don't have to have the complicated tests. I did get blood tests, and the blood tests showed that there was issues with wheat, but the problem with being tested for full-blown celiac, which is celiac disease, is the actual disease that is known as, lightly as gluten intolerance, as gluten allergy. The problem with that is you have to be having an active reaction to gluten, significant amounts of gluten, in order for that to show up as a positive in the blood test. The other tests are invasive, as in they go where the sun don't shine and check out what's going on up there. So I don't know. I don't want to. I could try to get absolute proof, but I would have to eat copious amounts of gluten and then have a really bad month or week or whatever. So it's kind of like. I suppose people who are allergic or who don't know, people who don't know if they're allergic to bee stings, probably want not to find out by putting yourself in a room filled with bees. Just avoid getting stung by a bee and you'll never have a problem. That's kind of the approach that I'm taking to whether or not I need to find out 100% confirmation-wise whether or not it's full-blown celiac or not. But that was an amazing analogy. I should write that down. Hold on. Bees. All right, I'll remember that. The bee analogy. But yeah, there was apparently a study, and this went around the internet, a study that showed that perhaps gluten intolerance, that is not the full-blown celiac disease, but what people call gluten intolerance, might not be a real thing. And this comes from one study. A professor in Australia in 2011 did a study where he almost went ahead and I should just build the elevated hidey hole here. He pretty much proved with that study, with the results of that study, regardless, that gluten intolerance was a thing because he tested people who for sure didn't have celiac, but they did indeed, through the test, show gluten intolerance or insensitivity. He has since recently done another study to double check. This is what scientists do. They double check those results, and he's found quite the opposite, that gluten intolerance isn't a thing, that it's a lot of like a placebo effect. Like he gave people, oh, I'm giving you gluten now, but it wasn't gluten, and they started showing, they say they had signs of reactions as opposed to the people with and without, and the control study. So that's interesting news. I'm not going to freak out and change my entire diet and all right, I'm gonna go sleep is actually what I'm gonna do. Hold on, un momento. And a splooshness. But yeah, I'm not gonna, like I said, just like my doctor told me, I changed that part of my diet. It works for me. Okay, thumbs up. Continue on. So yeah, I'm not totally changing anything about that in regards to this study, and even the professor says, much more study and research is needed on this, and technically the way science works is somebody else should be doing tests, not just this guy. Somebody else should be testing his results with the same techniques, and there should be dozens of research studies, and there should be a bunch of data that we can pull from as opposed to just these two different studies. Excuse me, sheep. Excuse me. Back in the day when, well, you can still intersect with mobs, can't you? It's just other players that you can't intersect with. Minecraft. So yes, I do appreciate the dozens upon dozens. There are dozens of us of people sending me the link to that. Not going to change anything about my situation. I guess it does relate to, there is a lot of talk about just the casual kind of what I suppose I can put a blanket term of the hipster approach to cutting out gluten just because it's kind of an in-fashion thing to do. I wouldn't recommend that if you don't have crippling bathroom issues due to gluten. Then there's literally no health benefit to cutting gluten out of your diet at all. Zero. There's no negative effects of cutting out gluten. It kind of screws up vitamins a little bit. Like vitamin D is something that drops a lot. I've gotta be on vitamin D and some other things from those blood tests, and I'm gonna get retested. But whether or not that's associated with me cutting out gluten, I'm not sure. But yeah, there's no benefit. There's nothing bad inherently with gluten itself. It's not like something they add. Or it's not some sort of pesticide. People see gluten-free, and a lot of that is the marketing's fault. Is instead of saying, oh, this has been this is safe for gluten intolerance, they say gluten-free, like fat-free or cholesterol-free. They try to sell it to you, and they put it in big words. And I even have the little certified thing on my YouTube channel just for funsies. But yeah, for me, myself, and I, that doesn't change anything at all. Also, kind of shifting gears here with the old Logitech G27. Here, let me clutch pedal. Let me talk about, I saw in the week away the new Interstellar trailer. Interstellar is a movie that's coming out this November from Christopher Nolan. Obviously did Inception and the Dark Knight movies, among other movies. He's done other ones. They're blanking out on me right now, but I really like him as a director. But he's coming out with Interstellar. All we had so far was a teaser trailer that I think came out during the Super Bowl. But Interstellar has Matthew McConaughey and other people in it. Is looking to be a pretty cool movie. If you haven't seen it, look it up. It's very Carl Sagan, very Contact. It's very, people are comparing it to Contact. Basically, this is what we get from the trailer. We pretty much had nothing from the teaser. other than that it had something to do, obviously Interstellar, it had something to do with space flight. They were talking about the loss of inspiration in human space flight and blah, 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 blah. But it now looks like the storyline is more along the lines of like a nearish future, like 20, 30 years from now. What I'm assuming is the global climate change causes our food resources, like it causes the next Dust Bowl and Great Depression, and there's a lot of images of dust and dead crops and things, and the food resources, and there's a scene, the opening scene is they're chasing a drone, and I think he says it's an Indian drone, so I'm assuming now instead of, say, as it currently is, the political currency is land and oil. I'm assuming in this new world where food is very hard to come by and scarce, food becomes the new political, currency, and that's why India has drones, or other countries have drones checking out our farming techniques and what kind of food stockpiles we have. But anyway. So there's definite issues on Earth, and it looks like the government is kind of either not around or collapsed, or there's not much happening. There's a line that says, Matthew McConaughey turns out to be a guy who has just a very specific set of skills that line up perfectly with what are needed. And he was a pilot and an engineer, and he's like, oh, but we don't need engineers now. Even though that in the grand scheme of things, when an economy or a global kind of food resources, climates change, what you need most is probably engineers, people who can solve the problems. But anyway, basically, it looks like picked up for like a mission, a space mission. And of course, with Christopher Nolan, we have... Sir Michael Caine is in it, and I think I'm going to. These are all just speculation. I'm speculating. I should do one of those trailer inspections or reviews or something like that. That there's like entire YouTube channels based on, and they get tons of views for some reason. I'm assuming these are all speculations that Michael Caine plays like an entrepreneur, like a Elon Musk style. Since the government's have kind of collapsed, and I'm assuming NASA doesn't exist anymore. This entrepreneur, this perhaps billionaire, has taken it upon himself to build a spacecraft. It looks like, based on Saturn V technology, to take humans out and away from Earth so that they can survive elsewhere. And reading the IMDb.com synopsis, apparently. Something like a wormhole or a rogue black hole or something shows up and is detected in a near the solar system, like a reachable distance, and apparently they want to use that to finally and once and for all be able to travel interstellar space, between the stars as opposed to just between the planets. Because one of the lines he says is, there's nothing in our solar system is going to save us, and that's a very Carl Sagan line. That's almost straight up paraphrase from Pale Blue Dot, where he says, "Our planet is a lonely speck in the great enveloping cosmic dark. In our obscurity, in all this vastness, there is no hint that help will come from elsewhere to save us from ourselves." I wrote that down. I haven't just memorized that verbatim, but that was a very Carl Sagan quote. So that's where a lot of the Carl Sagan and the movie Contact comparisons are coming from. There's a bunch of scenes where he said he has to leave because he obviously, with these very specific set of skills, a pilot and an engineer is chosen for the mission, and very, very cool stuff. He doesn't want to leave his daughter, I'm assuming is who that is. And also in the synopsis for IMDb is that there's some sort of time travel. There's got to be, with Christopher Nolan, there's got to be some sort of mind-bending brain explosion twist. So I think there is some sort of where he'll return or try to return, but once you going through a wormhole or that far for that long, or to a black hole, you're going to start to bend space-time. So time travel comes into play. So I'm very much looking forward to it. It looks very cool. It looks very it's right up my alley with space exploration and the continuation of the species beyond our planet and whatnot. So I'm very much looking forward to that. That was a very good trailer indeed. So Interstellar, you can check that out if you're looking for. It looks like it also, which is a relief. It kind of portrays space travel realistically. There is some sort of seems like some of the crew are put into cryogenic sleep or something. Perhaps they're the seeds to go plant human life elsewhere. I don't know, but it's on the fringes, but a very realistic depiction of what space travel would be like, hopefully. And if you're looking for a movie to watch now that depicts space exploration very realistically, go check out, I mentioned this before, but go check out Europa Report. I really enjoyed that movie. It's on Netflix now, but you can also get it, Amazon, rent it, or, whatever. But Europa Report is an independent film. For it being an independent film, great depiction of space travel. Obviously, mission to Europa, the ice moon of Jupiter. And very good movie. If you can get through like the first 30 minutes, there's a little bit of slowness where they're just establishing things and there's just a lot of talking and, a little bit of slowness. Just if you can get through that, there is a huge payoff, big payoff as the story unfolds. So check that out. And we will go to sleep here in another elevated hidey-ho and continue in the morning. Oop. Oops, didn't mean to do that. And a bop. And, we already got the bed. Right next to this tree. You're blocking the view of the sun's... Oh, now that tree is as well. Dang it! Woof! And woofness. Right, are you okay on your health? Chewing on some dirt? Yeah? Oh, well, you could have used that a little bit, I guess. Let's continue on. Also, in the news, kind of technology news, not confirmed yet, but everybody's freaking out. Everybody's losing their minds. There are rumors that Google is in talks with Twitch, twitch.tv, the live streaming service, to buy Twitch for $1 billion. That is the word on the street. It is yet to be confirmed. Each of the parties, both Google and Twitch, are denying, or they're just declining to comment is what they're actually doing. And some reports are actually saying, well, no, they're actually just in starting talks and really early talks, so no deals have been etched out yet. But very, very interesting news. As somebody who doesn't stream that often, I'm not sure how that it will affect me if it goes through, obviously, as a YouTuber, but as a gaming YouTuber, even more so. But overall, the gut reaction is, once again, this consolidation and less competition is always bad for the end user, always bad for the consumer, always. It only serves to benefit those who are receiving this 1 billion, whatever, and then those who receive the assets in return. And you always worry about stuff like that if it's it could be a buyout that's buying out the talent and the technology, and then the actual website, Twitch, goes away. That happened on a much smaller scale. Obviously, remember we were using the chip-in widgets for our donations? Some random company bought chip-in and then shut it down. So apparently they were either just buying the technology for some reason or buying the people who made it. I also used to use a Twitter client called Brizzly. It's a great Twitter client. I miss it. There's a lot of stuff in TweetDeck or elsewhere that just really ticks me off. Brizzly was bought by AOL, and I remember when that happened, they were like, oh, nothing's changing, we're still working on Brizzly, blah, 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 blah. And then, not some 6 months later, the entire team was shifted to the AOL Instant Messenger team, and Brizzly, it was left for like a couple months, and all these bugs started showing up, but nobody was working on it or fixing it, and then it just shut down. Whoa. So good job, AOL. That was money well spent, I'm sure. So you always worry about that sort of thing. But yes, it's a rumor now, but I wouldn't, I'm honestly surprised it wasn't happening sooner, or some other company like your Yahoo or your AOL or Microsoft even would be looking into buying Twitch, just because it's a pretty big thing lately. Now with all the PlayStation and the Xbox built-in broadcasting, so I don't know. In other Monopoly news, AT&T wants to buy DirecTV for $49 billion. So for 49 Twitches, you could have DirecTV, and you can only assume this is kind of in a direct response, a tit for tat for Comcast wanting to buy Time Warner Cable. Now AT&T, excuse me, ooh, we got to keep up. This is their way of competing, is by reducing the competition. So, this is a sad news, sad day for baseball. Sad day for the internet at large, perhaps. Who knows? But yeah, woo, fun stuff indeed. And I also got a question from, I want to answer it because this person donated $100 to Child's Play charity. One of the reasons we jumped up from like 1,700 to 1,900. Greenolls asked, this was their question: what is your opinion about current events around the world? Opinions. I guess I talked about the Google and the AT&T buying. I've talked about Comcast. Kind of mentioned that gluten intolerance article, the Interstellar trailer. There's obviously a lot more things going on in the world. And I could just open up Google News and just comment on every article, I suppose. But yeah, I hope my 2-day extravaganza of talking helped, answer that question of yours. And I do appreciate that very generous donation to Child's Play charity. Pete, donor Pete, I just like saying the name. Pete, Wolfie tried to say Pete. I know you're a bit of a coffee lover, or should I say connoisseur, but I was wondering what your thoughts are on the many high street cafe chains out there, and of course, what is your favorite drink? Ooh, my favorite drink is coffee, just regular old coffee, black. I do put sugar, but coffee. I'm currently using the pour-over method of brewing my grounds. So yeah, straight up coffee. I'm not a fan of espresso or these mixed mocha, chai, latte, frappe, whippy, soy thingamabobs or anything like that. It's like, it's like straight whiskey versus mixed drinks. I don't want to mix stuff. I want to taste the actual coffee. I do like the nuance flavors and whatnot. Plus, it's easier to just make it home and cheaper as well. But what do I think about all of these high street cafe chains? I don't know that I think anything, because I don't ever go out to get my coffee. A lot of them are cafe chains / roasters, and those are good. It's always nice to have a choice. Competition, if you will. An open market, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, of choices out there. I know I talk about Intelligentsia a lot, just simply because they're one of the largest ones here in Chicago anyway. But I've been searching and trying out a whole bunch of different ones just to get a lay of the land and try out different prices and different selections and options with the beans. The beans! So, that I appreciate. And yeah, here's one thing I could say. Last week I was actually, I did go away from the desk on a little vacazione to the West Coast, specifically the Oregon coast. Now, how do you say it? How does an Oregonian say it? Is it Oregon or Oregon? I feel like it's Oregon. There's a different way to say it. But anyway, and a weird thing I noticed there, and perhaps if there are some Oregonians in the audience, they can let me know. There's all of these everywhere. Drive-through espresso. These little huts on the side of the roads and near intersections, like everywhere. I don't know, what's the deal with that? We don't have those here. Just all over the place. Like, this is a frequent thing. I mean, I don't even think I have... What can I think of that's a similar thing? That's just a, a small little... It's a permanent fixture, a little hut. But all they do, it's drive-through espresso, drive-through espresso, drive-through espresso. Why? What? Why? Where are all the... What is this? So that's kind of weird. I have seen in my area a drive-through cigarettes. So maybe that's the Chicago equivalent. Oh gosh. But that that just caught me by surprise. I'm like, and they're all different. It's not just like one company. It's not like Starbucks are everywhere or anything like that. There's all these just independently owned. That just must be the thing. Oh, I'm gonna start up a drive-through espresso barn and put it on the side of the road. Just caught me by surprise. Very strange and unusual. But yeah, perhaps you guys will have to let me know what the deal with that is. Obviously, the market is there for it, but I've never seen such things in such high quantities whilst driving the Oregonian coast and area. So yeah, I suppose that kind of wraps up that question from Pete. Pete! Woof! Pete! About coffee. But yeah, I did want to talk a little bit about that. I guess I'll save some of that. I do need to kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Ration my stories and my things to talk about here in Far Lands or Bust. But I'll talk a little bit about my trip to the West Coast. It was a personal trip. It was not for business or anything, so that's why I always worry about saying where I am or where I'm going or where I've been or going to be, because people will be like, "Oh, I am there, and you should come meet me." No, no offense, but this is a personal thing. So hopefully everybody's thumbs up with that, and there's no problem about that. There shouldn't be, and we'll talk about more of the things I did and saw, and I still got some water in my ear because I went for the first time. Another question I get a lot is like, oh, do you try like extreme sports or any sort of like dangerous thrill-seeky things like skydiving and whatnot? But for the first time, I did whitewater rafting. And yeah, I thought my headphones were going out, but actually I think there's still some water in my ear. So I might have to check that out. That could be an issue. Wolfie! Pete! There he is. Whoop. Have a seat. Pete. I'll give you a nice space there. All right, you're staying outside today because it's not raining. Watch it start raining. Let's dig out. Oops. Dig out the final hidey hole of the day. Secure it. Light it up. And thank everybody for their continued support. And what am I doing? I need to actually make the hidey hole here. And, helping me out, and got a lot of likes on that last video, because I mentioned that's kind of the one thing you guys could do to help, and that really did help, and got a nice surge in donations whilst I was gone, even despite the lack of Far Lands or Busts going up. We got a lot of donations still going to Child's Play charity. Still working on getting additional charities. Like I said, that was something I wanted to focus on this season. It takes time. Be patient, young Padawan, for getting these additional charities. But yeah, definitely stuff you've heard of. I could say I've definitely been thinking about the EFF, Electronic Frontier Foundation. That's something, I talk about Comcast and net neutrality. They're the ones who they looked over SOPA before it became the hubbub, and were letting everybody know what to do, and this is bad news, and what to tell your Congress critter, and how to stop that sort of thing. So yeah, the EFF, that's also Humble Bundle supports the EFF as well, and other similar like things like this, and there's other gaming charities out there for kids or disabled people. So that's something I'm definitely looking into. So look forward to that. I'll be working on it. So yeah, thank you so much for watching and supporting Far Lands or Bust. Wolfie, woof, thanks you as well. My name is Kurt. I will see you next time.